Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Tony Plays The Binding of Isaac. Hope everyone's doing alright. I'm doing pretty solid, okay myself. Today, we're going to be doing a greedier mode run as Tainted Judas because he has a cool card unlock that I kind of want to get. And it's also one of the rare few times I get to do a Tainted character run. Very good, in my opinion. You know how it is. Anyways, besides that, hope everyone's doing alright. I'm doing pretty okay myself. Just kind of chilling, going about my day, nice and lovely. You know what it is. Trying my best to just enjoy the day, capture the day, you know, whatever, wishy-washy. Really uneventful day, honestly, if I'm being real here. Not a complaint by any sake of the word. Oh god, no. Really uneventful day, kind of not much going around, but that's honestly, to me, that's like a perfect day kind of territory, you know? At least to me personally. I like to, what's the word I'm thinking of? Okay, you know, I don't really know how to ascribe it, kind of, but like, for me, personally, I like my days, I like anything that I do, stuff like that, to kind of just be like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Real low-key kind of stuff, you know what I mean? I like to be very low-key about certain things, about my life, my days going-ons and whatnot, you know how it is. Or maybe you don't know how it is, it's okay if you don't, that's fine. But yeah, you know, just me personally. I like to be very chill, relax. I prefer my days to be uneventful, although I know that is kind of a little boring. If we're talking like any form of content wise, I'm aware it's kind of, it can be boring or whatever, something like that. But you know what? To me, that's just how I like living my life, you know? It is what it is. Only got like maybe one thing planned today. No, besides D&D. Like, just gonna go get some fucking food, you know, with my friends. And I think now's a good time. One might say to discuss, question mark? I don't know, not really sure. We'll see. But, you know, past few days I've been saying, oh, I'm kind of on my own, you know? These past few days I've pretty much been very on my own with life currently. I've had to make my own food, you know? I've been kind of just chilling all alone. It is what it is. Besides, like, every time I get off work, just hopping on, like, Discord VC with friends. Literally, no one else to speak to at home right now. So I'm kind of just, I'm gonna be real. You know, you guess you never know what you got till it's gone kind of deal. Very lonely, surprisingly. Which I never would have thought much of. And with this, with this, like, you know, talk of thinking about it, you know, living alone is kind of, well, it's very alone, you know? It's isolating. I don't really talk to anyone. I notice, like, before my mom, every morning, like around 10 o'clock or whatever, I'd just be like, oh, hey mom, you know, what's going on? You know, we chatted up a little bit. But past few days, wake up, do my job, you know, clock in and out during my allotted break time or whatever. And besides that, I don't say a word, you know? I literally am pretty sure that I have not spoken a single word today up until this recording right now. And you guys might think it to be crazy, but it's the truth. I'm not even joking. I think today, right now, me recording, this is the first time that I've spoken all day. I don't know what it is, man. I've just been very, I don't want to say alone, but like it's kind of what it feels like to a degree, you know? You understand? You guys picking up what I'm putting down here? It's like I got no one to talk to, no one to just, what's the word? What's the word I'm fucking thinking of, man? I don't know. Be honest with y'all, I can't think of the word. But you probably know what I'm talking about, right? Let's bomb you. I can't touch that with, oh, come on, that's cheating. Come on, you can't do that, bruh. You can't do that. But regardless, you know, it's very, like, honestly, I'm gonna be real, kind of eye-opening just to realize that, like, if I ever did live alone, because I'm gonna be real with y'all, I think for a guy like me, I've gone about it multiple times now, but like I would say I'm kind of like antisocial. I don't really like talk to people like that. I like to keep to myself, you know, sort of deal. For me, in a weird sense of the word, I think the plan is, one, you know, if we're dreaming here, we're dreaming here, we're coming up with dream scenarios here. So I'm about to start talking about like housing and stuff, which I know in this economy is definitely not feasible. But, you know, I think the dream for me is to like own a place, you know, one, have a place that I own. I don't pay any mortgage, I don't pay rent. Like the house is fully paid off. I just exist in this house, and if anything, all I do is like pay my internet or whatever other bills, you know, whatever other miscellaneous bills I got. But other than that, I literally just live, you know, in this house. In my mind, I think the end game for me is alone, you know, or at least that's how I'd prefer to have a house. If I were to have a house, I don't want it to be in my name, and I live in this house solo bolo, that I just kind of get to do. Obviously, you don't get to do whatever you want, but you know, I just get to kind of like live. I thought I had dark arts. I just kind of get to live. Yo, you can't fucking do that, man. I'm killing myself tonight, bro. With a gun. With a gun. Anyways. Tony's threats aside, I think for me, the end game is like, you know, buy a house, live alone, just kind of fucking relax. Yo, I'm done for, bruh. I am done for. Slime me out, gang. Just slime me out. Just slime me out. What's a brother to do? What's a brother to do? It is what it is. I'll fucking live. Yeah, but it's just live alone and just kind of like be a recluse, I guess, you know? Not really. I don't think I would actually want to be a recluse sort of deal, but I mean, me personally, I don't like talking to people, man. I run out of things to say all the time. I am I'd say I'm a shy person. I don't really like talk to individuals, you know? The most I'll really do is like, I'll speak to my friends, you know? Like I'll talk to my friends, and when I talk to my friends, I can talk about anything for hours upon hours. But that's because they're my friends. If it's a stranger, like I have trouble making new friends kind of deal, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. It's like me personally, I have trouble making new friends because like, I don't know what to say, you know? I think I'm pretty bad at that. And I don't think I'm at the point of my life where I'm good, you know? You know what I mean? I feel like that happens to some people. or maybe to some people, where it's like they get to a point in their life where they're like, I'm good, you know, I am satisfied with my friends that I have now. I don't really want to go out there and meet new people, sort of deal, you know. And I wouldn't say I'm at like that point. Yeah, I think I'm too young to be at that. I'm too young to be thinking like that at this point in my life. You know what I mean? That's kind of my thought process. Is in my brain, I'm over here like, I'm too young to be thinking like, yeah, I'm good on friends, you know? Like, no, I'm not. At this point in time, I should be like making more friends or something, you know? But one, I suck at it. And I guess to speak on it too, you know, I don't, it's gonna be funny, dumb, whatever. However you read into this. Two, I don't know how, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a crazy statement, but like, I don't really know, I guess, how to make friends or something like that. Besides just being introduced to a friend of a friend and maybe carrying it on from there, you know? Oh shit. But if I'm gonna be honest with y'all, besides that, I mean like, I'm just a guy, you know? Tony's claiming he's just a guy for the 45th fucking time. But like, it's true, you know? It's kind of genuinely like true. I am just like some dude. In my mind over here thinking like there's nothing necessarily special, I guess, about me or whatever. You know? And it's definitely not a topic that I have much interest covering or whatever. Not for any particular reason, like I'm scarred or anything, but it's just like, you know, I mentioned it before, but in terms of like a relationship sort of deal, you know, I specified I would like to live in this house alone. And, you know, at the end of the day, it'd be nice to have a significant other that to like live in a house with, you know. House can be under both of our names and we live happily ever after kind of sort of deal. But I mean, I don't really think about it, I guess. Why? I'm gonna be real, I couldn't really tell you other than it doesn't cross my mind too much. I can only think of a few times in recent memory where something like, you know, the thought of something like that has crossed my mind. But otherwise, whenever I think of moving out or when I think of living Tony's life in the future, I usually kind of think of it just like by myself, just kind of doing what I want to do, you know? And it's not like it's like a tie me, like, oh, no woman could tie me down, you know, no one could tie me down kind of mentality. I think it's just, I just don't give it much thought, you know, to really get into it. And it's just kind of like, not crazy, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You know, maybe my thought process isn't too crazy thinking about it. Because honestly, from what it feels like hearing about shit and seeing certain things, it kind of does just kind of feel like maybe not like society as a whole, but it kind of feels like things are starting to get more towards there's like less people in relationships and stuff like that, you know? I think I said it a while back. I did mention it in a recording a while back, but I can only think of a handful of people that I know that are in an active relationship. You know what I mean? And it's genuinely the truth. I can only think of a few people that I know that are like in an active relationship. And almost everyone else is kind of just like, you know, either A, unsuccessfully, no hate towards anyone, either just like A, unsuccessfully trying to get into one, or B, just no interest / haven't been searching, I kind of guess, you know. Yo, what the fuck happened to my dark arts, bruh? It broke instantly. Criminal, criminal. This is illegal. My bad. I had to get a little loud, y'all, because I mean, you saw what happened on the screen, right? You don't need me to be like, "Oh, Tony, what?" Come on, bro. You saw the way they tried to dick me right there. Did you pray to? I don't know why. Did you pray to dang, right? Like my brain is low key rotted or whatever. But anyways, my bad. My fault, y'all. I got a little not taken aback, but the brain rot started consuming me slightly. Yeah, I don't know, man. It just kind of seems like, you know, news hearing about people's relationships or stuff like that. It kind of just doesn't really feel like things are going, maybe not a good way. That might not be the term. You know, I'm not one to determine if society is crumbling or not, you know, but it's kind of interesting to look around and kind of see, like, you know, there's always like the memes or whatever that people have talked about or compared to, where it's like my parents at age 25 and it's, you know, like your dad and your mom, like planning on getting married and, like, you know, starting a family or whatever. And then it's like me at 25. I'm not 25, but just example, you know, me at 23, my mom and dad already had my brother, you know, by the time my parents are my age now, they had a kid and we're like, you know, raising him. Me right now, I'm over here fucking just kind of trying to just get by in life through work and playing fucking The Binding of Isaac, which is not a bad thing because I love this game. But, you know, just to plead the case, one might say. Bitch, I need you to split. Give me a second. I need to pee. My apologies, y'all. Just had to step out real quick. You know, nature called or whatever they say. And on the way back, I saw a fucking Oblivion post about being racist to Argonians and shit. So, you know, what's up with that? Anyways, back to the... Not, I guess... What's the word I'm thinking? I don't think I was discussing, like... You know... We're not out here making Sophie's Choice or whatever, but, you know, it just... Regardless. You know, I just... From what I've seen, personally, you know... And kind of what I experienced. I myself haven't, like, gone on any dating apps like, you know, your Hinge or Tinder or whatever, but I know a few people that have either A, actively been trying to search, or, you know, I used to be on the search, you know, for a partner, boyfriend and or girlfriend, depending on who I guess I'm in reference to at the moment. But, I mean, dude, it's crazy because, I mean no disrespect towards anyone when I say this. If someone is watching this and they're like, oh, I know for a fact this motherfucker's talking about me, I just want to say, guaranteed, I am not talking about you. This is a simple example. But it kind of feels like, you know, this shit, you should be fucking crucified for this, yeah? What the fuck, bruh? Sorry, Tony fucking on his Pontius Pilate shit, regardless of that. Fucking, dude. It never seems like anything works out, which, one, you know, what does that say, I guess, kind of? Because I kind of feel like that's not like an experience where it's like, oh, I think these people just suck to be with or whatever, you know? It's more so, it just kind of seems like that's just how things are steering towards, You know what I mean? Because two people come to mind that I can think of as I think they would be great people. They are great people, but I would think they would be, you know, Soul of Bethany. Sure, let's pop you. Why not? Oh god, I can't use you. You know, Tony out here, Tony Knowledge out here. I'm over here thinking like, I think these people would, you know, not necessarily for me or whatever. I'm not that I'm actively looking, but I would think these people would be fucking good or great partners for someone else, you know? That's what I'm thinking. To gas up my homie one, not gonna say his name, but I know one guy at least. To like gas him up, I would think he would be a great partner if he ever found a girlfriend, you know? He's a cool guy. I'm biased because he's like one of my closest friends. I wouldn't see him as someone that would be a bad boyfriend or whatever, you know? I would think he would be chill ass dude. But like I said, maybe I'm just inherently biased because that's my bro right there. But then, you know, it kind of seems like he's tried and he's told me multiple occasions. There have been multiple times where we'd be hanging out and he'd be on his phone on Hinge, like when it's like downtime or whatever. And, you know, we would actively try and help bro try and find a relationship. And it just never seemed like anything either A, worked out, or just, you know, maybe shit's just gotten that bad. Nobody looking? No, but with so many people not in a relationship, there's at least, you know, like by proxy, because there are so many single people, that means there's more people out there to be looking for a relationship, right? That's my thought process. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking this, but that's my thoughts. But it just kind of seems like it ain't happening, you know? It seems like it ain't happening. And like I've said before, I'm not looking, but it kind of has me wondering, what does that spell for me? You know? If you got my friend out here who I think would, you know, I think he's cool, good looking guy. He's out there trying to put himself out there and he can't find a relationship or can't find anything stable or whatever. Then what does that spell for me? Is essentially what I'm over here trying to say. Is like, if I try to look, am I cooked? Question mark. You know, do I even bother? Is the other question kind of proposed by me here. Yo, I was about to tell a video game character to slime themselves out. How cooked am I? This is astronomical levels of cooked, right? Like, I'm in too deep at this point. Oh shit, I don't got money. God damn it. I'm so stupid, I don't have money. I should not have picked up Lodestone and Magnetizing Tears. This shit has caused irreversible damage to the run. Oh wait, Lodestone was last run. Magnetizing Tears this run has caused irreversible damage. Strange Attractor or whatever it's called. But whatever. It is what it is. I'll try my... Oh my god. You know what's so crazy? You're gonna think I'm insane, but I was literally hoping for just this item to come through, bro. I was like, I need a quarter in the fucking devil deal right now, bro, or else I am cooked. Fuck, this shit is trash. There you go. Let's get the hell out. Get the hell out before things get bad. Give me a sec. My apologies once again. But yeah, I mean, dude, yeah, it's just it's interesting to notice, I guess, is kind of what I want to say. I want to say it's interesting to notice, but I also don't want to be that, you know, I'm not like the noticer or anything. Where like I'm out here actively, I guess, kind of like looking for an explanation for it all, you know? I'm not the guy that's like, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm looking for the reason why I can't pull any, okay, I was about to say bitches, but you know, I don't mean that in any misogynistic way. It's just the kind of the term I use. And regardless, people know. You know, a part of me is just kind of like, nah, I gotta stop this. I gotta put a stop to this, bro. This shit should not be allowed. This game fucking sucks. This game is fucking dog shit. Question mark? Can I say that? Yes. Y'all saw that? They just pulled out Sister Vis in the middle of the fucking run. This is a monumental Tony crash out right here going on. Generational fucking crash out going on here. And honestly, I think I am in the fucking clear to be crashing out like this. Because what they got me doing is some bullshit, dare I say. But it's just, you know, it's just something I guess I've kind of noticed or like picked up on, kind of, you know. I don't see myself as a person who's actively trying to notice any patterns or whatever. I'm not out here seeking answers for this kind of stuff. It's just something that, like, in passing, thinking about it every once in a while. Because, you know, I feel like once you get to a certain age, you kind of start thinking about, like, what do I want to do in my future? And one of the things that at least wasn't promised, that's definitely not the term I'm thinking of here. But, you know, the American dream comes to mind, you know? What is the American dream, one might say? It's to get married, have kids, buy a home. I feel like each aspect of that, you know, if I think about it, one, I don't think I'm actively building towards, or at least I don't think it's feasible. You know, one, what's one? Buying a home. Like, let's be real here. House prices are high as hell. What's the chance of me buying a home sometime in the future? I don't know. And I don't want to bank my life on I don't knows, you know? So it's kind of just like a fact I have to accept that I might not maybe in the future. The only time I can kind of think of, hey, if I fucking, this is my guaranteed chance to own property is, you know, fucking hope not, but it really seems like the only method is like if my parents pass on, you know? That kind of deal. But I don't want the only way for me to potentially own a house would, you know, be just wait for your parents to die so you get theirs, you know, you get what they had. And it's like, I don't want to wait for my parents to die. One, I don't want to think about my parents dying, you know what I fucking mean? And two, I don't want to like wait for them to pass in order for me to be like, oh yes, I get a house now kind of deal, you know? Like, that's fucked. That's how I see it. That's fucked. But it is what it is, I guess one could say. And it, you know, it's just a thought I've kind of had recently, but yeah, you know, I don't want to, I'm not trying to see that one. You know, I'm not trying to see that personally. You cannot fucking do that, man. This boss sucks. Is this the Isaac's first fourth world boss? Question mark. This dude blows chunks, man. Succubus, very good. Don't know if it's worth losing so much health over. Nah, not worth. Car battery. Start re-rolling till we can maybe get like either a good item or some solid source of spirit hearts, in which case I'll just tank it all. There you go, solid on that, and then I think we're good. But I mean, oh dude, my halo's red. That's cool. What the hell? That's a cool, what's the word I'm thinking of? Design choice? I don't know. That's sick, is what I mean to say. But and oh, I feel like I lost what Unk has lost the plot once more. But I mean, you know what I mean, dude. It's you know, the plan to like kind of have a, like the American dream or whatever, the so-called American dream, is to like have a family, own a house, have kids. You know, one aspect of that, own a house, doesn't seem feasible, at least not with the pay I make. Next step would be, you know, have a family. I'm not really looking. I'm not actively seeking for like a partner or whatever. But from experience, aka what I've heard from many of people and what I've seen online, not everything you see online is, you know, should be taken as fact, but I've seen it so much, a part of me's got to be like, there's got to be something going on here, right? It seems like people are finding it harder and harder to get into a relationship, at least a long-lasting one. And the kids thing, I mean, just look at the stats. The birth rate's declining, you know? So every aspect of that quote-unquote dream is kind of dead and gone, one might say. But I just kind of find it interesting, you know, to look at, at like a larger kind of scale sort of deal. Because it's just so, you know, especially the relationship part, especially the relationship aspect of that. It just kind of seems like, I don't want to say shit's getting bad, but you know, shit might be getting bad. You know, my parents were happily married at my age. Me, I'm fucking just... I'm doing a Tainted Judas Greedier mode run right now on my lunch break. So, you know, real interesting stuff, I guess, to ponder. Real interesting ponderance of life right there from Tony. You guys know that my word is bond, obviously. Everything I say should be taken as gospel and treated as such. You guys are very well aware. Come on, just die already, bro. Okay, hold up. Ooh, easy money. But I mean, just, yeah, you know. Who knows? It's not that I don't like talking about relationships or anything, but I mean, you could tell from what I've said, I just don't have experience. But me personally, I get it kind of feels weird to say this. Someone who's outside looking in, me who hasn't had any relationship experience really. It's interesting to see how things like that are going for, one, friends I know, and just in general, other people that have a similar experience to me, that maybe they got out of a relationship and now they can't get back in one, even though they might want to, or something like that. Friends that I know that had, like, you know, wanting to get into a long-term relationship just can't, because I don't fucking know. Is that how life is now? I don't want to be the guy that says that, because it's not definitive. Anyways, good episode. I want to thank y'all for watching. If you guys did enjoy, I greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day and or good night, depending on the time you're viewing this. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out, fellas.